السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. This evening, inshallah, I'm going to take a break from yourselves, or you're going to take a break from me, because we have this evening, inshallah, the next 10 minutes or so, and we have with us our brother Abdulilah Abdulilah Lahmami, Hafidhahullah ta'ala, from our close brothers and our well-known brothers that we have known for nearly 20 years or more. So inshallah he has come over here and he's here for the summer. He lives, and he will give a few words, inshallah, on the same subject matter that we have been discussing since the first day of Ramadan, and that is some benefits with regard to the manhaj of Da'wat Salafiyyah. Barakallahu feekum.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in Surah Al-Isra verse 9, إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم. This Quran guides to that which is upright. Alhamdulillah, this is the month of Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. This is the month of Quran. That the month of Ramadan is the month that the Quran was revealed. Hudan linnas is a guidance for all of mankind, and not only that, a clarification, a bayina, a clarification, and also a furqan, a criterion, showing you the difference between tawheed and shirk, iman wa kufr, sunnah and bid'ah, light and darkness, truth, falsehood. Quran, inna hadha al-Quran yahdi lillati hiya aqwam. قال ابن كثير رحمه الله, from the students of Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah رحمه الله in his tafsir, he said about this verse, this Quran leads to that which is upright, aqwam. He said, a'dal, guides to that which is the most just path. It leads us to justice, to being just. And Allah Azza wa Jal ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. He commands and He enjoins that you are, and He commands that you are upon adl, justice and righteousness. Allah Azza wa Jal also, He said, قائما بالقسط. After He said, شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والملائكة وأولو العلم قائما بالقسط. They are upright upon justice. كلمة التوحيد. أهل السنة, the Salafiyyun, the Ahlul Athar, they start with the Tawheed in their call, and they start with calling the people to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the fara'id, the obligatory duties, and then the mustahabbat thereafter. So first the obligations, calling the people away from the evils of the disobedience of Allah, and the worst and severest disobedience is shirk. إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. Allah will never forgive shirk, and He forgives anything else besides that. Allah forgives anything else besides that, but shirk, no. And after shirk, Shaykh Ubaid al-Jabri Hafidhahullah said, after shirk is bid'ah. So Ahl al-Sunnah, Ahl al-Athar, the Salafiyyun, they put everything in its perspective, because إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي أقوم أعدل. They put everything in its perspective, in its right place, because they are just, they are upright. So after, when they call the people away from shirk because of the severity of shirk, and that the person of shirk will be in the hellfire forever, they call the people away from bid'ah. Next. And they show the severity of bid'ah. What is bid'ah? Bid'ah is something new in the religion that people invent. As Imam Al-Tartushi Al-Maliki, rahimahullah, he said, Al-bid'atu idan, tariqatun fi ad-din muqtara'a, tudahi shari'a, yuqsadu biha ta'abud ila-Allah. Bid'ah is what? It is a path that people take in the religion which resembles the sharia, that the person intends to worship Allah with that. It is something new, invented. And Imam Al-Shatibi rahimahullah also, he mentioned, he said, أصل هذه الكلمة الاختراع. And actually I swapped them. أصل من هذه الكلمة الاختراع وهو شيء يحدث من غير أصل سبق ولا مثل احتدل ولا ألف مثله. And he said something similar, that it is something invented. It is something new. So when the people bring something new, it is rejected. As in the hadith of Aisha, which is in Bukhari, that the Messenger ﷺ said, من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد. Whoever introduces into our affairs that which we have not brought, it will be rejected. And the hadith in Muslim, من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد. It will be rejected. So the aqwam path is the path of Quran, which calls you to follow the Quran, the Sunnah, and the understanding of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. This is the aqwam path. Ibn Kathir قال, أي أعدل, calls you to being just, calls you to being putting everything in its place. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in hadith Qudsi, إني حرمت الظلم على نفسي وجعلته محرما بينكم فلا تظالموا. I have made oppression forbidden for myself, and I have made it a forbidden for you, so don't oppress each other. Because إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم أي أعدل. And also Ibn Kathir rahimahullah said, وأعلى الطرق, guys, to the best of paths. صراط المستقيم وأن هذا صراط المستقيم فاتبعوه ولا تتبعوا السبل فتفرق بكم عن سبيله ذلكم وصاكم به لعلكم تتقون. This is the صراط المستقيم that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called us to follow, that you may gain piety. And it is straight path. As Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah said, it is straight and it is not crooked, nor is it hilly. It is the shortest path. It is the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And also Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, the third word he said, in explaining this verse, إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم أعدل أعلى الطرق. And the third word he said, وأوضح أوضح الطرق, the most clearest of paths. Eh wallah, this Quran guides to the clear path, the path that is واضح. Our manhaj is واضح. Our aqidah likewise is واضحة, is clear, and it should be, because this is the way of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the way of the Ahlul Athar, the Salafiyyun. It is واضح. Who said? Ibn Kathir rahimahullah. He said, وأوضح الطرق, the most clearest of paths. Who said that before him? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين. There will not cease to be a group from my ummah clearly upon the truth. Look, ظاهرين, واضحين, clearly upon the truth. Not with bid'ah one day, sunnah with one day. Mixing one day with the mubtadi'ah, the innovators, one day with the sunnah. No. وأوضح الطرق. There will never cease to be a group. Always that group is there, upholding the truth, not being harmed by those who oppose them. But he didn't say that one first. He said, not being harmed by those who try to deceive them, nor by those who oppose them, until the command of Allah comes, and they are upon that. Shaykh Muhammad bin Hadi al-Madkhali said, look how the Messenger ﷺ started with the deceivers first. That the Salafiyyun, the Al-Athar, upon this tariq al-wadih, this clear path, they will not be deceived by the deceivers. They will not be harmed by the deceivers. He started with the deceivers because their harm is greater. They will say to you, I'm a student of Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah, and he's opposing Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah. I'm a student of Shaykh Albani rahimahullah, and he's opposing Shaykh Albani rahimahullah. And he will say to you, I'm the student of Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, and he opposes Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah. And he will say to you, I'm the student of Shaykh Rabi' Hafidhahullah, and he opposes Shaykh. This is not the path of أوضح الطرق that he should be following. No. He should be, if he's a student then he must follow his manhaj. He must follow his path. It's not that you study one day and change the next day. Would your teacher be happy with you? The teacher will not be happy with you. The teacher will correct you and say that you have strayed and you have deviated. And he would not want people to follow you because you have strayed. This is why when the people started running around with tazkiyat, saying that I have studied, I have studied, I have studied. What did Shaykh Rabi Hafidhahullah say? The tazkiyah of the person is amal salih, is his righteous actions. So how is it? I have tazkiyat, mashallah. I have tazkiyat. But yet, what about your amal? It's not salih, it is talih. It is not a way of sunnah. It's not a way of this way of Sahaba radiallahu anhum. But rather you mix with the Ahl Bid'ah, with the innovators, and you mix with this one and that one, and you praise the innovators, and so on and so forth. Is this the way of Inna hada al-Quran yahdi lillati hiya aqwam? No. Quran guides to that which is upright. Shaykh Abdurrahman al-Sa'di rahimahullah, on the same verse, Surah Al-Isra, verse 9. He said, Inna hada al-Quran yahdi lillati hiya aqwam fil aqidah. Allahu Akbar. It is aqwam. It is most just, most upright, most balanced. This is the right path in aqidah. You can't be aqwam if your aqidah is shaky, if your belief is wrong, if your belief in asma'ul sifat, in Allah's beautiful names and attributes is wrong, if you worship other than Allah, and you call upon other than Allah, and you sacrifice to other than Allah, and you rely upon other than Allah, and you hope in other than Allah, and you seek blessings in other than Allah, how is that aqwam? That means in aqidah, first and foremost, your tawheed must be upright, you must be sincere. Allah calls us to sincerity. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. They have not been commanded except to worship Allah sincerely in His religion. And Allah said, أَلَا لِلَّهِ الدِّينُ الْخَالِصِ. To Allah belongs the sincere way. So therefore, this is the aqwam in aqidah. And He said, after that, aqwam in amal salih. That this deen, this Quran guides to that which is upright in calling you to doing good deeds. And we are in Ramadan, alhamdulillah. What is good? That which Allah and His Messenger ﷺ declare as good. That is considered to be good. But that which is considered to be bid'ah, innovation, which is worse than sin, then this will only harm the person, will land him in the hellfire, and what an evil abode that is. And Ahlul Sunnah, the Salafiyyun, Ahlul Athar, they love hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ. They love hadith. They love Rasulullah ﷺ. They love his narrations. And this is why it was said in one of the sittings of Abu Zur'a, عليك بالحديث وأهله. عليك بالحديث وأهله. فرأي ليل والحديث نهار. Upon you is hadith. Is to follow hadith and his people. For opinion is night. It's not clear. While hadith is day. It's clear. So this clear path, aqwam, awdah, it is the path of Ahlul Hadith, Salafiyyun, Ahlul Athar. Not Ahlul Hadith who claim to be Ahlul Hadith, but yet they call you to voting, and they call you to working with the partisan groups. This is not the way of aqwam. Call you to the jam'iyat fulan and fulan, by those who buy people, because they want you to speak with how they want you to speak, not how you want to speak. This is not aqwam. إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم. قال الشيخ عبد الرحمن السعدي رحمه الله, he said, we mention عمل الصالح. It is not عمل الصالح if you're opposing the hadith of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. So عليك بالحديث وأهله فرأي ليل والحديث نهار ولربما غلط الفتى سبل الهدى والشمس بازغة لها أنوار. It may be a person, he strays away from the path of guidance while the sun is shining in its splendor. The sun is shining. Do you need anyone to tell you it's shining? No, it's clear. This path is clear. As the poet said, لا يصح في أذهاني شيء إذا احتاج إلى النهار دليل. It is not, the person is not saying if he needs somebody to explain to him in the daytime that it is day, that the sun is shining, it is daytime. He's not saying. It's clear. So this path is clear. Quran and Sunnah ala fahm al-salaf. The ulama are known. It is not they are not unknown. They are known. Alhamdulillah. From the three major scholars who passed away, rahimahumullah, and thereafter the other scholars who are alive today, the likes of Sheikh Salih Fawzan and Sheikh Al-Haydan and Sheikh Rabi' bin Hadi al-Madkhali, and other than them from the mashayikh, from the great scholars who are clarifying the path to the people, clarifying the Sirat al-Mustaqim. And lastly, Sheikh Abdurrahman al-Sa'di rahimahullah, he said, Aqwam, in terms of, he said, al-akhlaq, in terms of manners. So how is our manners? First of all, our manner with Allah. وَأَعْطِ كُلَّ ذِي حَقٍّ حَقَّهُ, the Prophet ﷺ said, and give everyone who has right over you, give him their right. So the right of Allah comes first, that you are upon this blessed path of aqwam, being upright, Quran and Sunnah ala fahm as-salaf, being aqwam. But the person, he mixes with the innovators, and he falls into sins and transgression, and he lies and he cheats, he's not truthful. Is this aqwam? This is not aqwam, because the Quran did not call you to that. The Quran called you to being just and upright in following the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aid us and bless us in the month of Ramadan to follow the Quran and be upon the path that the Quran wants us, that Allah wants us to be. And that is, inna hadha al-Quran yahdi lillati hiya aqwam. For surely if we truly understood and followed and pondered over the Quran, then truly would know the value. For indeed, if the Quran was revealed on a mountain, it would crumble. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. If it would crumble for the fear of Allah. The Quran, no crookedness, no deficiency in it. No crookedness and no deficiency in it. Alhamdulillah الذي أنزل على عبد الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. It is upright. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are upright in our speech and in our actions. And likewise we are upright in our manners. How we are with our wives, with our children, with our brothers and sisters, and before all of them, how we are with our parents. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. How are we? And how are we with this blessed methodology in following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in loving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in aiding this da'wah to Salafiyyah, which is the call and the path of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How are we with that? Are we on it? Or are we not aqwam, not upright upon that path? So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are aqwam on this. And the way you be aqwam is to not disconnect yourself from the ulama. For they remind you of this verse, and they remind you of the path which is upright, the ulama of Ahlul Sunnah. As for those who disconnect because of a miserable price for a few gains, then those people, they chop and change. One time they're with this alim, tomorrow there's somebody else. And then they move on until they get what they desire. This is not the path which is aqwam. We ask Allah to forgive us and accept. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the Quran a proof for us, not against us. وَالْقُرْآنُ حُجَّةٌ لَكَ أَوْ عَلَيْكَ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us in this month of Ramadan, have mercy over us, accept our qiyam, accept our siyam. May Allah make us aqwam in our speech, action. May Allah protect us and our families. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ala khayri khalqillah Muhammad wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.